welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make another 3D LED light using just one color of light and creating multiple colors in the final piece. And I'm also going to try and use this little engraving pen. I've got a nail drill that I used the last time, but I want to see if this actually works because it's a lot more portable. So let's just start off with cutting our plexiglass. I'm just using a standard box cutter. And I'm going to start by just cutting out the sizes I need. I'm just scoring the plastic. I'm not actually going all the way through. So this is actually the material I'm using. But to break it, you need a little bit of leverage. So I'll put it onto something. I just clamp it down. It should break on that line. And there you go. So now we have two pieces, we need four, so let me make the other two. So I've put my little plexiglass piece onto my design, and I'm going to start by etching this design into the base. And I'm just going to use a sharp pointy thing to just scratch into the top. And I'm trying it first with the protective film, but if it doesn't work, I'll take it off. I think it's easier to just take it off. Let me see if I can get a corner to lift. So what I'm just doing is just scratching over top. And what this does, it creates the image onto the plexiglass. So I'm going to be doing all the black outlines, and then when I'm ready to use the tool, I'll show you how that works. So I think we're going to start with just one of the bigger pieces so we can test out if this actually works. So it comes with the tool, and it also has some of these stickers you can use. It has a USB plug. Comes with these little parts, and I think I'm going to try and use this one first. So let's just start somewhere on the side. So as you can see, it actually works absolutely fine. It has a really nice finish. So to even out these bigger areas, I'm using a little bit of 180 sanding paper, and I just try to go over it. As you can see, this area looks a lot more even than this area. So I'll do that for this whole area, and that way I get a nice frosted finish. So I'm going to be making a base for my little light, and I'm going to be using this hobby color. I've never used it before, but you should be able to cut it and bend it and glue it, and it should be perfect. So I made a little template, and I decided to just do it the full width. Just in case, I can always shorten it if necessary, but because my lights have quite a big compartment for the batteries, it needs to fit in there. It should, but you never know. We're just gonna try. So what I'm gonna be doing is putting this template on here and then cutting it. So let's see how this material cuts. So that was quite easy, and the edge is pretty nice. So I'll just cut out the bigger sections, and I might even try to cut out this little slit inside, but I might need to drill holes. Let's just do at least the corners, and I'll show you when that's done. So let's do a little test to see how easy it's going to bend. I've got my little heat tool, and I'm just going to turn it on. Okay, so that needs a little bit more heat. I just want to go slow. I'm also trying not to burn myself. So I'm interested to see how far I could bend it. There is a protective film over the top. So I saw that bubbling up on the side. So I guess that was my threshold of heating it up. But that actually looks really nice. So that's the inside. That's the outside. And the final material, there is this film on top. It protects it from scratches, but I think this will work. So now I have to bend these four sides like this. I'll be doing that, and then we'll try and see if it will fit the plexiglass. So before we can use these and put them together, I want to paint the underside. That's the magical potion that will turn this all in a multicolored piece. So I already did the purple and the lilac. So these are those two colors. And that's just the permanent violet blue with the zinc white for the lilac and just the permanent violet blue for the purple. And now for the green, we're going to be using a yellow green. And unfortunately, I don't know how to give the branches a different color. So all of this is going to be green. I could have chosen not to etch these leaves in the purple. And then the green and the purple should have made the leaves a lot darker looking. But that's an afterthought. So we're going to try and see how it works with just the green. And what you do, you just paint the underside of the acrylic that's going to be on the side of the lamp, the color you want it to be. And the only thing you need to make sure is that it's a transparent color. So preferably one that has the fully clear box, but is very pigmented. And that's why I use the zinc white and not the titanium white, because titanium white is actually a opaque color, so no light would go through or very little. I'm going to try and make a border or a frame out of Worbla to wrap the outside of the acrylic, and then put some aluminium foil on the inside to reflect the light so it gets even more light coming through. So here's the green on this side, and it should turn the leaves green, but right now it's a little bit too light. You cannot really see it right now, but it will look cool in the dark. I will show you a little bit later. It is time to peel off the protective film, and I'm hoping I can keep them clean, but I will be cleaning them in between. But let's just take these off. I know they're not perfect. I had some scratches on them, but so that's the first. That's the second. One side always comes off easier than the other. That's the third. So that's how our design is going to look. My ring light is reflecting of it, but I'm already loving it. So I've got some of this 5-minute epoxy, and I've just been mixing it for a little bit. And it should be fully mixed. So I'm going to line these up. I'm going to try and keep them aligned and put some of the epoxy on the side to hopefully keep them together. That way it will be easier for me to put on the frame. So I ended up clamping it, and hopefully that will make it stay put, because on the other side I had a little bit of leakage. I'm just going to try and fix it this way so it at least stays put and I can work with it as one piece, because I've cleaned them. That way hopefully I won't get any fuzz in between now. So while the acrylic is drying, let's take off the protective film on our little base. So I just wanted to try and use my little drill to make this hole a little bit nicer so I can reach actually the button, because this is going to go inside. But right now it's too hard to clip the button. I wanted to see if I can use this tool to round off these sides. So let's try. That's actually looking quite nice. So I think I'm going to do it all the way around. So I ended up making it a little bit more square, and that way your finger fits nicely in it. What I do recommend is keeping the protective film on this material, because it's actually quite soft. You can see it already scratched, and it's just from the little tiny bits that came off. So I've been working on the base a little bit more, and I decided I'm going to paint it, because when I started to do the corners, I really liked how the finish was rounded. Like, this is what I did with the folding. So it's a sharp edge. And then I just started shaving off pieces with the Stanley and then sanding it down with some 180 grit. And this is what I got. So I can put a little bit of filler or maybe just some PVA glue into the crack before I'm going to paint it. So I'll be doing that for all 4 corners. So while working on the base that actually came out stunning, and it's not even painted yet, it's only sanded, I was thinking, why not use this material to make the frame as well instead of the Worbla? So I ended up cutting out some pieces, and I'm just going to be gluing them into a U shape like that. And then I can round off these corners and make it look the same as the base. I'm just going to be gluing all these pieces together and sanding. And then when it's time to put it on the acrylic, I will show you. Because that still needs to dry. That 5-minute epoxy is more like a 24-hour thing. It's still tacky. But I'll just glue these together and yeah, we'll go from there. So I forgot to press record. So yeah, that happened. I'm gonna try and show you what I did because I put in the lights and I think it's kind of hard to show because everything's already in there. But I made sure that my battery pack is removable. So you can still take the batteries out. So just made a shelf that is just L-shaped and the battery pack just slides in. Just like so. And then I put aluminium foil all the way on the inside to get as much as light reflective of every surface. I also blocked the underside where I could. I wanted to put one here, but then you cannot remove the battery. So this has aluminium foil on the other side as well. And then the lights that are inside here, you can see them when I put the lights on, like so. I just glued the fairy lights onto a piece of the board like this, and I just glued them on with the glue gun. And then I put on a piece of the plexiglass that I frosted by sanding it down. That way the light gets diffused and you don't have just separate points of light, but you get more of a bar. And yeah, you can see the aluminium foil on the inside is reflecting the light nicely. So that's all nice and done. I'm going to be painting this gray. I'm going to be finishing my frame because the first one didn't work, so I made a second one. I'm just going to round the corners as I did. And then it's time for the final reveal. Making this piece was quite a journey, but I've learned a lot about new materials and I'm really excited to experiment a little bit more with this hobby foam. If you have any suggestions on what to do with it, please leave it down below in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching and I'd love to see you in the next one. Bye everyone!